Here, and I would like to engage him. So, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
I know you're here because of the conferment of an honorary degree on the Asante Hine, but share with us what you know about.
Here today, I have to come and then support him. Okay, so I've heard a lot about this man, his humanitarian work that he's doing, his educational foundation, and a lot of things that he's doing to even bring cooperation in the chieftaincy. And I think he needs to be honored. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. In one word, what would you say to the University of Cape Coast? This is where it is happening. The fact that this great university, the #1 university in Ghana, #1 in West Africa, among the top 10 universities in Africa, has decided to honor His Royal Majesty Otumfuo Osei Tutu II. What would you say to this great university?
I would say this university has always been the pesitors, and it is very, very good honoring this great man, and I say kudos to the University of Cape Coast. Thank you.
Thank you. And Manike, I have met one great man, and when it comes to history about Asante man, he has it at his fingertips. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
And let me just say that you're welcome to ATL FM 100.5.
You're welcome to.
Share with us, first and foremost, your name and how we should identify you.
Well, my name is Osei Safo Kantanka, popularly called Teacher Kantanka. I'm a teacher by profession, a researcher and author of books. So basically, I attach myself to the monarchy, and I delve deep into the monarchical history. So I'm addressed as a monarchical historian and a pedagogist.
Share with us what you know about His Royal Majesty Otumfuo Osei Tutu II.
What we know about him, or I know about him, is what everybody knows about him.
And I'm interested in what you know about him.
Just as we are welcoming him to a great university like Cape Coast University, it has a lot of information about it. If Cape Coast University is to award you, and Cape Coast University is undoubtedly one of the best universities, and Cape Coast University is on the world map of academics. So if they are calling you to honor you, then of course you must be somebody who has done great things.
What are some of the attributes of this great man we are honoring today?
We know him of promoting education at all levels, from primary to the university level, giving scholarships to students, giving guidance and counseling to teachers. He's now the Chancellor of Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology in Kumasi. So it's about academia alone, we can not finish talking about him.
Was he born a king?
Certainly, yes.
Did he know that he was going to be a king one day?
Well, a lot of people vie for the position. So you see yourself as one of those who is likely to be a king, but as to whether or not it's going to fall on your side, it's God's intervention. So if God comes into something, then of course we say, you are ordained. God has ordained you to be a king.
So far as the Ashanti Kingdom is concerned, what legitimizes or what qualifies somebody? Must you belong to a certain family to qualify to become a king of the Ashanti Kingdom?
Sure. All the states that come together to make up the Ashanti Kingdom is over 60, approximately 70. And each state has a group of people that can be made kings of the states. Now all together, then the Ashanti Kingdom, made up of very many states, will also have a leader from a particular group called the Oyuko group. Even the Oyuko group made up of different sectors. One section of the Oyuko group can become the king of Ashanti.
So it's not just anybody from the Oyoko, there's a particular section in there.
Yeah, section. Oyoko is made up of different categories. So one of the categories are those who are often chosen as the king of Ashanti. Normally, everybody of a different state would come from a different, some are even from the Oyoko royal family. But those from the Oyoko royal family in Dwabeng, or Kokofu, and other places, are though Oyoko, but cannot be the king of Ashanti. The king of Ashanti should come from the Oyoko royal family of Kumasi, and even there, a section of the Oyoko royal family from Kumasi.
Let's talk about education. I'm interested in that. Where did he start from till date?
Well, he schooled initially in Ghana and continued abroad. He went to Sefioso Secondary School. Then
I was told that he got admission to Prempeh College. Why didn't the family take him there?
The family didn't want him to be swollen-headed. That's okay. I attended one of the prestigious schools, and maybe they wanted to avoid him being pig-headed. So they chose to let him go to a place where he will be attached to the people. Because if you go to Prempeh College, in a way, you are removed from the ordinary people. So that is why they wanted him to have a taste of the ordinary life.
So they took him to the village?
Yes. Where you will not call Sefioso a village, but maybe...
Compared to Prempeh College, that's...
Yes. So that is where he went. And then IPS, Institute of Professional Studies, in Legon here. From there, he went to school in England, where he continued, did major courses, and returned to be the king of Ashanti.
Right. Maybe finally, your last words just before you take leave of us about this whole ceremony and the fact that UCC has decided to honor this great man. What will you say to the University of Cape Coast?
Well, they made the right choice of deciding to honor the king of Ashanti. That will also carry them to places, because if you have honored the king of Ashanti, who is also well known all over the world, then of course the university, though known in the world, but will have extra respect for honoring people. So this is what I would say. And on Saturday, the chief of the paramount chief of Ogwa is also welcoming the king of Ashanti.
That is historic.
Yes, that is also very historic. So indeed, it is not a mere visit to Cape Coast. It is a historic visit to Cape Coast.
Your name finally?
My name is Osei Bunsu Safo Kantanka, normally called Teacher Kantanka.
Thank you very much, Teacher Kantanka. So you're still live from the new examination center here in your University of Competitive Choice. We're still gathering views from distinguished individuals. I have my mommy here. Mommy, you're live on ATL FM 100.5. Share with us your name and the reason why you're here.
My name is Cynthia Amabos. People call Amamponsa. We came with His Royal Majesty Otumfuo Osei Tutu from Kumasi to witness the honorary degree of our king.
Share with us what you know about His Royal Majesty Otumfuo Osei Tutu II.
Otumfuo Osei Tutu is a nice king. He is our brother, our king, and everything. So we have to follow him to wherever he goes.
So if they mention that name, Otumfuo Osei Tutu, what comes into mind about his attitude, his behavior, the way he's carried himself over the years? What comes into mind about him? Somebody to tell us what you know about him, something that will resonate among everybody.
He is humble, very kind, open, and lovely. He loves everybody. He is nice with everybody. Anybody, be you poor or rich or small or big. All the children and everybody, he likes the people, his people. He's a very nice person. He's rare.
His kind is rare.
His kind is rare. His kind is rare.
Thank you for speaking with us. We are grateful. You're still live from the New Examination Center. We are still gathering views and opinions about His Royal Majesty Otumfuo Osei Tutu II, and we are bringing this to you live from the New Examination Center. Remember that if you are with us, you are live on YouTube via TV UCC, live on ATL FM 100.5. This is a special congregation in honor of His Royal Majesty Otumfuo Osei Tutu II. I have a fine. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
You are live on ATL FM 100.5.
Thank you.
Share with us what you know about His Royal Majesty Otumfuo Osei Tutu II.
I have known him over the years, several years ago. As an Ashanti, I have known him several years ago. And maybe this is the first opportunity to see him face to face. So, for the name and from a distance, I'm not a stranger, but this is the first time I'm going to meet him face to face.
I'm pretty sure you have heard about the part he's played in making sure that there's peace within the Ashanti Kingdom and even beyond, transcending across the length and breadth of this beautiful nation. What do you know about Otumfuo in that regard?
Yes, I've known that he's been championing peace all along. Anytime you listen to him, he champions peace. He talks about peace. And he talks of national development and talks of growth. So for this, I know very well how well he has played, the part he has played in making sure that all of us have peace over the years that he has been the king of Ashanti. Any
message to the University of Competitive Choice for deciding to honor this great man?
I think it's one of the best things we have ever done as a university, also as a member of the university community. It's the greatest thing one of the greatest things we have ever done. And I think we are grateful for the opportunity, whoever meted the idea. We are honored.
Right, so you heard it all. This is coming from your University of Competitive Choice, the #1 university in Ghana, #1 in West Africa, and among the top 10 universities in Africa. And so if this great university honors you, then it is well deserved. And no wonder this great man, His Royal Majesty Otumfuo Osei Tutu II, is being honored today. A lot of goodwills are trickling in. Remember, you're live on ATL FM 100.5, and if you're watching us, you're live on YouTube via TV UCC. We'll try to get some more views as people to share with us what they know about His Royal Majesty Otumfuo Osei Tutu II. We are scanning through, and I'm sure we'll find people who know a lot about His Royal Majesty Otumfuo Osei Tutu II, the overlord of the Ashanti Kingdom. I'm getting close to some individuals to help us with this particular conversation. Good morning, Nana. Nana Mpachuwapo mwe. Minim se Nana Osei Tutu enti na wo ha ene anope. Yebe se ukache nie wonim efa His Royal Majesty Otumfuo Osei Tutu II.
Oh, the minim fa Otumfuo Osei Tutu II. Only say oye nipa bi a ope nkabo mu onyenyi mu odo bia ebre bia asembe baba bia no itimi ka anipa ni nyina bom aye ma asumdue eba nti kakra metimi akafa no saye bia openokre di impone paris nyina o ka asem a ode no kure na ka asem nti obra obewie no na afane fani nyina obia te ne ho ase pepepe sede ese nti
Nana, yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it. So we are still gathering some more views. I'm trying to identify some few people to share with us what they know about His Royal Majesty Otumfuo Osei Tutu the second, the overlord of the Ashanti Kingdom. A lot has been said about His Royal Majesty. I see some fine stuff here in your University of Competitive Choice. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
And you're live on ATL FM 100.5.
Thank you.
Share with us what you know about His Royal Majesty Otumfuo Osei Tutu II.
I know he's one of the distinguished chiefs in our time. And the role that he has played recently with the sanctioning of some of his sub-chiefs in the Galamsey issues makes him an astute chief in our time.
And let's come down to UCC. For this great university to decide to honor this great man, what does that say about this great university?
It shows that the University of Cape Coast is current with the development in the country, and it is apt for a university of this nature to recognize the good works of our leaders and to also honor them. It will be in a form of recognition and those who are also doing good works wherever they find themselves. It will be an encouragement to them to contribute their bit towards the development of the country. So the UCC has done very well.
All right, thank you, sir, for speaking to us. And you're still live on, we are coming to you live from the new examination center here in your University of Competitive Choice. I still see some beautiful Queen Mothers adorned in glory, beautiful kente. Nana mpacho wapo mwe.
Oba de adon na no.
Kente ye friend is saying.
Ejuni si dwene so.
What you say?
Ejuni si dwene so.
Ejuni si dwene so. As the train is saying. Eni minche ni ewuni mfa na say to eho.
Yo. Midin de nana akoso abo atima otoso mienu dote hema. The minimfa yura opem so yura mishawo bro. The minimfa no ho say yura podo openka bomu yura wotima ema ne ma ne manfo nyina. Nti na ene de yeso ye tese ye bebu yura abaso ye nyina de ahokeka e de aduru ha sei no.
Na de na obeka che sa suapon yi se ene da pon da ite se wo yesi wo se obebo yura abaso.
The Mecca Suapon, the Suapona says, so Mamma who Yera Numa Power ye, or Yen we are singing, and Negana, we are self and Enina. Tino almost what I dream was say about Nabasunti. I said, Danny, the mom was so many when to say, I show you Rasante Hene.
And then Pacho would deem you.
Nana Cosia Boatima, Tosum, Dr. Hema.
Nana Yedasi, anyone that, yeah. And so it's all about royalty. It's all about portraying our rich Ghanaian culture. It's all about honoring a man who deserves to be honored. I have the chairman for the Senior Staff Association, Universities of Ghana, UCC chapter here. Chairman, you're welcome to ATL FM 100.5.
Thank you very much, my brother.
Share with us what you know about His Royal Majesty Otumfuo Osei Tutu the second.
Okay, Otumfuo, as we all know, is the King Solomon of our time. He's a man endowed with wisdom and knowledge in serving his people and Ghana at large. And we believe the university honoring him with an honorary doctorate degree is well to be celebrated. That is why we have all come here to grace the occasion today to see that it makes a success.
In the area of peace within the Ashanti Kingdom and even across the length and breadth of this nation, Ghana, what do you know of Otumfuo Osei Tutu?
Yes, we have seen that he is a man who lived by his words and also with his background in law. His tenure as a chief or a king for the Ashanti Kingdom, we have seen a lot of peace prevailing, especially among the chieftaincy hierarchy. And we think it is a good thing and it is a plus for him as the Royal Majesty of the Ashanti Kingdom.
Right, thank you, sir, for your time. You just heard from the chairman for the Senior Staff Association, Universities of Ghana, UCC chapter. I see some fine, okay, lots of people gathered here. We're trying to get views. Good morning, sir. Welcome to ATL FM 100.5.
Hi, good morning. Thanks.
Share with us your name.
I am Richmond Yeboah.
Tell us what you have heard, what you have seen, or what you know about His Royal Majesty Otumfuo Osei Tutu the second.
All right, thank you very much. I am a proud Asante, and so Otumfuo, since he became the king of Asante, he has continued the good works of past Asante Hene and even elevated it higher. And so in Ghana, everyone else, when you mention Otumfuo, is proud. And so some of us who come from Asante cannot stay home when our king is coming to Cape Coast. He has done a lot in terms of education, and even his contribution goes beyond the Ashanti Kingdom. In Cape Coast, Wesley Girls High School is a beneficiary of the Otumfuo Education Fund. I think last year the fund donated a bus to Wesley Girls High School. A lot of people have benefited from the fund to school. In the secondary school in the past, before the Free Senior High School, some have also benefited to study at the university. So Otumfuo has done so well. When it comes to peace, his record is unmatched. I remember the long-lasting conflict in Gabon. When Otumfuo stepped in, were able to bring a resolution to that, and he continues to show leadership. I heard the former president that even when it comes to national elections, his contribution in making sure that there's peace in Ghana is something that is unmatched. So we are happy that today Otumfuo is here, and I am happy that my former university, I schooled here my first degree, my master's and PhD, and so I am happy that this afternoon Otumfuo will become an alumnus of the university.
All right, thank you, sir, for speaking with us. We are still live here, new examination center here in your University of Competitive Choice. We are still speaking to eminent individuals, important dignitaries here. Nana Yemo Kwababa ATL FM 100.5.
Mejoso Amira.
Nana eni yenche minim se yewra na setu enti na wo ha ne. Die na wonim efa ye nana eho.
Papa kakra metima kan se yewra de we sebe nipa sonko. Brian Sakano ye ne di ne bibia wo ye man ye bia ye ni so. Ye boy mu ase ne be koso asom na kopise be wuo. Enti be kura na metu kwan. Be dua na menya nkra se program ye den e koso ha. Tuma anyima ho me kura na ma ye den. Se mi wura e be ye program o se be Cape Coast dia de tie bia o se so itme den. Ye beta na ti ne hwe na bibia ye kama. Enti ye wura nti ne ba ye ti ta na ti pa wada Roma.
Na nefa na brabo niema wo ye mi nimse wahu bi ana wati bi. Die na obekafa His Royal Majesty Otumfuo Osei Tutu the second ho.
Papa, kakra metima ka me bon dan ma pagya me mu. Mira, wada Roma. Mira, since obetra so se me hwe school. Modem a wo boma se bi wona woni bie wo school. Ne niam akese hospitals. Mo a wo bo se bi wona woni bia papa, mintimi nka na meje bi. Edoso, eso ye ni papa. To wada Roma, kakra metima ka no. To one day yesum na ewu. De metima ka to me
se wadwi mu no abodi ese na efata
papa abodi no kura de wo se mo ye no mo ebi wo ho amunsan fa bi yere enka ho se na mo se entra nkopom otena no pa na mo fa bi nka ho a ye betena mu akopom otena cause yesum awu other Roma medas.
So you're hearing it all. A lot has been said. We are still, because we want to pick views from lots of people as possible. We know that His Royal Majesty Otumfuo Osei Tutu has done a lot for the Ashanti Kingdom, not just the people of the Ashanti Kingdom, and it goes beyond the Ashanti Kingdom and even across the length and breadth of the nation Ghana. Today, the great University of Competitive Choice, is honoring His Royal Majesty Otumfuo Osei Tutu II, the overlord of the Ashanti Kingdom. We're soon expecting some dignitaries, but maybe briefly, Nana Mpache Mokwa Baba, ETL FM 100.5.
Yeah, bro, hene.
But what catch and dear na unimfa na say to.
Ay, na sa today na yura ba ko pe. Me ne fe ya se akoyem hene. Ti me makonya de munim say ifini nsem na to fom. So we are the battle of Fayas bia de munim makonya no. On na de to ho. Ansa na okokon kese no e de agya santama eso. Nti won ne ho bibia de ye na yebo ni chidom nti otua ene yetiem.
Nana fache ye frɛ Osei.
Me din de Nana Ade Jamra Fayas hene.
Nana Edasi any wumre and anopay. And so, Manny, if you can hear me, the dignitaries are arriving. I want you to take it over there and continue the show. As and when we gather some few individuals, we'll link up with you so that we can bring our listeners and our viewers a live feed from the new examination center. Take it over, Manike.
Thank you very much. Reverend Dr. Patrick Kwampa. Thank you very much. Reverend Dr. Patrick Kwampa. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We'll take the opening prayer whilst we remain standing. To do us the honors is Reverend Dr. Patrick Kwampa. Thank you very much. Let's kindly take our designated places so that we can progress. Reverend Dr. Patrick Kwampa will do us the honors with the opening prayer.
Shall we pray? We begin in the name of God the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Almighty God, we thank you for the nation Ghana and the University of Cape Coast. We thank you for the leadership, management, staff, students, alumni, and all stakeholders of the university. Also, we thank you for the height that you've brought the University of Cape Coast up to. We commit today's special congregation in honor of His Royal Majesty Otumfuo Osei Tutu II into your hands. We ask that may you make it a success. We ask for your presence. We thank you for an answered prayer. This we pray in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ. Amen.
We shall sing the national anthem. Kindly take your seats. Good morning, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this special congregation in honor of His Royal Majesty Otumfuo Osei Tutu II, the Asante-Hene. His Royal Majesty will be conferred with an honorary Doctor of Laws degree for distinguishing himself as a guardian of heritage and culture and traditional leader. My name is Akosia Chiabiasaki. I work with the Directorate of Public Affairs, and I'm pleased to be your MC. To formally open this special congregation and deliver the welcome address, help me welcome the Chancellor of UCC, Dr. Sir Sam Eson Jonah.
Chairman of the University Governing Council, Vice Chancellor, past Vice Chancellors, Vice Chancellors of sister universities, the Honorable Central Regional Minister, Supervising Minister, Minister of Education, Osabarima, Dr. Kwesiata, the second Omahene of Ogwa Traditional Area, members of the University Council, ministers of state, members of the judiciary, members of the diplomatic corps, the Pro-Vice Chancellor, past Pro-Vice Chancellors, and Pro-Vice Chancellors of sister universities, acting registrar and registrar of sister universities, Nana Kwekuenu, the third Mabrahene of Ogwa Traditional Area, Nanano members of parliament, representatives of political parties, the clergy, members of convocation, staff, students, and alumni of this great university, honored guests, the media, good morning. It is with profound honor and privilege that I welcome all of you to this university, the University of Competitive Choice. Today we gather here for a momentous occasion, a special congregation convened to confer an honorary doctorate degree upon His Royal Majesty Otumfuo Osei Tutu II. This event holds great significance, not just for our university, but for the university, for the nation, and Africa, the African continent as a whole. As this Chancellor of this esteemed university, I'm deeply aware of the responsibilities this ceremony carries. Today we honor one of Africa's most revered traditional leaders, a man whose influence transcends borders and generations, His Royal Majesty Osei Tutu II. Osei Tutu II, Otumfuo, is often likened to the biblical King Solomon, renowned for his unmatched wisdom, discernment, and visionary leadership. His reign has been marked by an unwavering commitment to justice, peace, and socio-economic development of his people. His Royal Majesty's leadership indeed extends far beyond Asantuma, resonating across Ghana, West Africa, and the global stage. Ladies and gentlemen, it is often said that great leaders are not defined by the power they wield, but by the wisdom they show in times of trial. His Majesty embodies this truth. His reign has been a continuous demonstration of navigating complex issues with a blend of traditional wisdom and modern pragmatism. His ability to unite people from all walks of life has earned him profound respect and admiration globally. In a republic like ours, traditional powers have evolved within the framework of a modern state. The challenge for any leader of Otumfuo's stature lies in balancing his whole role while respecting the sovereignty of the state and maintaining the cultural heritage of his people. His Majesty has navigated this role with unparalleled skill, embodying a delicate balance between tradition and modern governance. His wisdom and impartiality have earned him the trust of political leaders across all parties, who often seek his counsel. His Majesty's non-partisanship has ensured that his influence remains a stabilizing force rather than a partisan one, making him indeed a beacon of unity. His unwavering commitment to the pursuit of justice, peace, and unity is self-evident. Indeed, upon ascending to the Golden Stool, His Majesty made it his mission to address the many chieftaincy disputes that plagued the Asante state. His bold initiatives brought stability to areas once marked by division and conflict. His leadership in these matters is a testament to his deep commitment and understanding of the traditional governance and his dedication to the welfare of his people. Indeed, one of the most remarkable examples of his leadership is the pivotal role he played in restoring peace in the Dagbon traditional area. As chairman, it took too long. As chairman of the Committee of Eminent Chiefs, His Majesty facilitated the negotiations between the Andani and the Abudu royal families, culminating in a historic peace agreement in 2019. This monumental achievement not only restored harmony in Dagbon, but reinforced his stature as a national unifier. And let me just say this, he's always been known as a visionary leader in education and development. Beyond his contribution to peace and justice, Osei Tutu II of Otumfuo has been an unwavering advocate for education and economic development. Recognizing the transformative power of education, he established the Otumfuo Education Fund shortly after his installment. This fund, I'm happy to say, has provided scholarships and bursaries to over 300,000 students, enabling countless young Ghanaians from all regions and from all tribes to access quality education and contribute to the intellectual and economic growth of our nation. Indeed, his commitment for a vision for economic development is equally commendable. In 2019, he unveiled a 10-point development plan for Kumasi, aimed at industrializing the local economy, creating jobs, and fostering wealth within the region. This plan serves, I'm pleased to say, as a model for sustainable development across the country. Don't be shy, don't be shy. Our honoree is a statesman of global repute. His influence extends far beyond the borders of this country. His timely interventions in matters of national and international importance have had a most significant impact. If I may share with you, in 2016, the former President John Otumfuo, highlighted how His Majesty's advocacy at the IMF was instrumental in sustaining Ghana's economy during a very critical period. Such actions highlight his stature as a global statesman whose counsel, we do so in recognition of his extraordinary service to the nation and his unwavering commitment to promoting unity, justice, and development in Asantuma and beyond. And it is my immense pleasure and privilege for the University of Cape Coast, the top-ranked university in Ghana and West Africa, okay, that means I should repeat. The top-ranked university in Ghana, to be associated with such an illustrious figure. Before I invoke the powers that have been vested in me, I want to acknowledge the presence here of my dear wife, Lady Jane. And now that I've settled my domestic dispute, let me just go on. By the powers vested in me as the Chancellor of this university, I hereby constitute the Assembly into a special congregation for the purpose of conferring the degree of Doctor of Letters Honorary Consult on His Royal Majesty.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sir Chancellor. I would ask that we all rise as we sing the UCC anthem. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, at this juncture, we would listen to the Vice Chancellor's address. Help me welcome Professor Johnson Nyako Boampong.
Thank you. Respected Dr. Sam Jonah, Chancellor of the University of Cape Coast, His Royal Majesty Otumfuo Osei Tutu II, the Asantehene, Osabrama Dr. Kwesi Atta II, Omanhin of Ogwa Traditional Area, Dasebre Otu Osei, Chairman of Council of State, Professor Harold Stewart Amonukofi, Chairman of Council, Ministers of State and Ministers of the Gospel, members of Diplomatic Corps, members of the University of Cape Coast Governing Council, Nana Kwekwenu, the third Manrehin of Ogwa Traditional Area, Nana Amba Ayaba, Kruntihima of Ogwa Traditional Area, Nananamo present, Professor Rosemont Abuadua Bohin, the Pro-Vice Chancellor of the University of Cape Coast, Mr. Ebenezer Agri, Acting Registrar, Vice Chancellors of sister universities, Pro-Vice Chancellors of sister universities present, former Vice Chancellors, former Pro-Vice Chancellors, Executive Secretary of VCG, Provost, Deans, Directors, members of convocation, stakeholders of UCC and sponsors of the special congregation, friends in the media, Minister of Education present here with us, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon to you all. It is a great pleasure once again to have this opportunity to address this August Assembly on the occasion of the conferment of honorary doctorate degree on His Royal Majesty Otumfuo Osei Tutu II, the Asantehene. I wish on behalf of the Governing Council of the University of Cape Coast and management to add my voice to that of Chancellor of the University of Cape Coast to welcome all our guests from far and near who have come to witness this historic occasion. Sir Chancellor, ladies and gentlemen, awarding honorary degrees to deserving individuals by higher has been the tradition since the Middle Ages. The practice, scholars tell us, is said to have begun early in the 15th century, and since then, it has become increasingly common to see institutions of higher learning across the globe awarding honorary degrees to distinguished individuals. Sir Chancellor, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, all over the world, the criteria for determining who qualifies for the award of honorary degree have been varied. In many instances, varied opinions have generated a great deal of debate, but bar elements, to look out for people with an outstanding intellectual and academic work of an exceptional and exemplary nature. Consideration has also been given to a person's distinctive creativity and contribution to the general welfare of society. In some cases also, service to the public with outstanding leadership in education, business, public service, or other appropriate sectors of society has attracted attention for consideration. Many people have also been awarded for their special service to the very institutions that are awarding them. Sir Chancellor, many institutions of higher learning across the globe, particularly in Africa, have in the past awarded honorary degrees to traditional rulers and chiefs for their exemplary leadership and contribution to their respective societies. Consistent with global practices, the University of Cape Coast has a rich tradition of recognizing excellence and achievement, and has in the past awarded honorary degrees to distinguished individuals, many of whom have contributed significantly to the advancement of society. So today's awards ceremony will not be the first. However, this will be the third time the University of Cape Coast is conferring an honorary degree on traditional rulers in Ghana. The first was Ehuna Bobrim, Pra Ajinsem, Paramount Chief of Asin Orenchi Traditional Area, followed quite recently by our landlord, Osaberma Dr. Kwesi Atta II. All from the central region. In this ceremony, the university will confer an honorary degree on His Royal Majesty Otumfuo Osei Tutu, the Asante. This will be the first award conferred on a king outside the central region by the University of Cape Coast. What makes today's award ceremony significant, however, is the fact that it is the first time the university community is publicly acknowledging the contribution of Asantehene. Sir Chancellor, ladies and gentlemen, the contributions of our traditional rulers and chiefs to the advancement of African societies have long been acknowledged and in most cases celebrated. Although the place of traditional rulers in modern democratic governance is still a subject of debate, what is increasingly clear is that many still find traditional rulers or chiefs as critical stakeholders in not just upholding the traditions of their people and communities, but in most cases, chiefs and traditional rulers still play an important role in the lives of many Africans. In many countries, traditional rulers play a preeminent role as mediators of violent conflict and champions of community development and transformation. It is in recognition of this important role of the institution of chieftaincy that the 1992 Fourth Republican Constitution of Ghana in Article 270 guarantees the institution of chieftaincy together with its traditional councils as established by customary law and usage. Sir Chancellor, consistent with global practices, I'm happy to inform you and all herein gathered, that the management of University of Cape Coast, on behalf of its academic board and social community, finds His Royal Majesty Otumfuo Osei Tutu II more qualified by these parameters to receive the degree of doctors, the degree of Doctor of Letters, honorary causa. Sir Chancellor, by the conferment of the degree on His Royal Majesty Otumfuo Osei Tutu II, he becomes an alumnus of the University of Cape Coast, the University of Competitive Choice. Other past honorary recipients from our university include His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, the President of the Republic of Ghana, His Excellency John Agyekum Kufuor, former President of the Republic of Ghana, Osabarima, Dr. Kwesi Atta II, Omahin of Ogwa Traditional Area, among others. Sir Chancellor, I wish to draw your attention to the fact that the University of Cape Coast mandate, in the collective wisdom of its founders in the 1960s, was to champion the training of the country's teaching workforce. Although, with the passage of time and in response to the global trends, we have expanded our programs to accommodate other disciplines. We are still committed to our traditional core mandate of teaching, research, and providing academic leadership within the educational landscape. Sir Chancellor, on assuming office as the Vice Chancellor of this university, my vision has been to empower UCC graduates to have entrepreneurial competencies in line with the government policy initiative on National Entrepreneurship and Innovation Program intended to reduce graduate unemployment and promote job creation. Sir Chancellor, in May 2021, at a similar ceremony, I pledged our determination to complete all outstanding projects to enhance conducive academic environment. I'm happy to report that we have completed some of the projects, others are ongoing and near completion. 2023, the Times Higher Education released 20th edition of the World University Rankings, with the 2024 World University Ranking results. The Times Higher Education World University Ranking is the most prestigious global university rankings, among others. Sir Chancellor, I'm delighted to inform you that the 2024 World University Rankings had data submissions from 2,673 institutions across 108 countries, out of which 1,904 universities qualified to be ranked. The University of Cape Coast has retained its position as the topmost ranked university in Ghana. Not only in Ghana, West Africa, and the 7th on the African continent. The University of Cape Coast is also the only university in Ghana and West Africa that is in the top-ranked universities in Africa. UCC has also maintained its position as one of the leading research-intensive universities globally. As an academic center of excellence, it is therefore justifiable to recognize and award an excellent leaders of our time, His Majesty Otumfuo Osei Tutu II, an honorary doctorate degree. Your Majesty, your leadership, vision, and unwavering dedication have profoundly impacted both your kingdom and the broader world. Otumfuo Osei Tutu II has achieved a lot in his lifetime as a great leader that time and space will not permit me to mention. Sir Chancellor, permit me to say that on behalf of the Governing Council, management, staff, and faculty of the University of Cape Coast, we salute Otumfuo Osei Tutu II. For his meritorious and distinguished service to the nation, particularly his commitment to promoting unity and development in Asante-Man and other regions, as well as his significant contribution to humanity in the areas of water and sanitation, health, education, entrepreneurship, peace building, culture, and heritage. Your Majesty, as we bestow upon you this honorary degree, we are not only recognizing your profound contribution to Ghana, but also the invaluable lessons your reign has offered us in peace building and leadership. Your dedication to conflict resolution and the stabilization of regions within and beyond Ashanti Kingdom has been exemplary. It is in this spirit that we at the University of Cape Coast draw inspiration from your wisdom, particularly at a time when the university faces challenges that echo a turbulent past. In the late 1980s and 1990s, our institution was marred in what was infamously known as the era of the University of Constant Confusion. During these years, external pressures and internal discord sowed seeds of instability, disrupting our academic environment and tarnishing the reputation of this great university. However, through the collective efforts, the university regained its footing, ushering in an era of stability and remarkable growth. Under my leadership as Vice Chancellor, we have witnessed both infrastructural development, enhanced research capabilities, and the establishment of globally recognized centers of excellence. The university's academic standards have soared, elevating our global ranking and attracting scholars and students from around the world. These achievements have positioned UCC as a beacon of higher education in Africa. Today, however, we face new challenges, ones that threaten to unravel the progress we have made. Recent attempts to undermine the leadership of the Vice Chancellor are reminiscent of the uncertainties that once plagued our university. Such actions, driven by external pressures, risk plunging us back into an era of confusion and instability. It is at this critical juncture that we turn to your leadership, Your Majesty. We face challenges today, particularly within our beloved University of Cape Coast. We are reminded of the need for unity and wise leadership. The turbulence that once characterized our university's past threatens to re-emerge. But it is through the guidance of leaders like Otumfuo Osei Tutu II that we can navigate difficult times. His Majesty's presence here today is not only celebration of his achievement, but also a call to action. We must draw from the shared history, embrace our differences, and work together to ensure that the University of Cape Coast remains a beacon of excellence. Your Majesty, we invite you to join forces with our respected Chancellor, Sam Jonah, and Osabai Makwesiata II, Omahin of Ugwa traditional area, in leading efforts to maintain peace and stability at the University of Cape Coast. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in celebrating His Majesty Otumfuo Osei Tutu II, a leader of extraordinary vision and beacon of hope for us all. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much. Pretty shortly, we would witness the conferment of the honorary degree on His Royal Majesty Otumfuo Osei Tutu II. Ahead of that, we're going to have a musical rendition by 7 from the Department of Music. Music and Dance University of Cape Coast. Ladies and gentlemen, we are at the point where the conferment will be coming up pretty shortly. Before that, Your Royal Majesty, Otumfuo Osei Tutu II, I respectfully ask that you rise as your citation is read by the Pro-Vice Chancellor of UCC, Professor Rosemond Boahene.
Hello, Otumfuo Osei Tutu II, known in private life as Berima Kwekuduya. You were born on the 6th May 1950 as the youngest son of 5 children of Nana Efua Kobisewa Ampem II, Asante Hima, Queen Mother of Asante from 1977 to 2016. A direct descendant of the founder of the Asante Kingdom, Osei Tutu I, you ascended the golden stool on 26 April 1999 as the 16th Asante Hene. From early childhood, you came under the tutelage of your uncle, Ohineba Mensa Bonsu, who saw to your childhood development through careful grooming in Asante traditions and statecraft. In 1964, you started your elementary education. Your secondary school education took you to Sahurioso Secondary School in the Western North region of Ghana, but you returned to Kumasi in 1969 and enrolled at the Osei Tvucc Secondary School. In 1971, you moved to Accra to continue your education at the Institute of Professional Studies, Legon, for a course in accountancy. 2 years later, you journeyed to the United Kingdom to continue with your accountancy studies at the Kilburn Polytechnic. Later, you attended the University of North London, where you studied human resource development and public administration. Your Majesty, you returned to Ghana in 1989 to establish your own business, Transformec International, Ghana Limited. Your international exposure paved the way for you to gather a wealth of experience as senior consultant with Mutual of Omaha Insurance Company of Toronto between 1981 and 1985. Finance officer at the British firm Oxon, London, and as personnel administrator at the Manpower Services Commission attached to Brent Council in London. Your natural gift of calm and radiance inspires loyalty and serves as a motivation for those around you. Your diplomacy and tact among your peers is easily recognizable and complements your traditional leadership qualities towards reconciliation. In 2012, you demonstrated your love for peace and democracy by convincing leaders of the various political parties in Ghana to sign a pledge to ensure peace before, during, and after Ghana's presidential and parliamentary elections. You also embarked on a historic trip to Seychelles Island, where one of your predecessors, Prempeh I, was exiled to by the British for resisting their imperialism during his reign. To encourage religious dialogue, you addressed the Chatham House in the United Kingdom on the need for a forum for dialogue among the various religions and proposed the creation of a forum akin to the World Economic Forum for the pursuit of such a dialogue. Among many plaudits, Your Majesty, you stand out as an astute statesman with high pedigree in the foundation of cooperation in both traditional and modern trends. You have initiated projects that have put your traditional leaders into a new learning process that enables them to lead their people in community development programs, as well as create awareness of the value of our cultural heritage, including art and artifacts, as well as the traditional court systems in conflict resolution. Your Majesty, the unique brand of your leadership has endeared you to Asante in particular and Ghana as a whole. As Asantehene, you have instilled peace and stability in your governance style among your people, as well as encourage them to pursue arbitration instead of litigation, especially in numerous land and succession disputes that had plagued Asanteman for decades. Over the period of your reign as Asantehene, you have brought peace and reconciliation to Asante. Your ability to settle over 500 land and chieftaincy disputes, which could have sparked agitations among your people and elsewhere, is commendable. As most sought-after leaders in traditional matters. As a traditional leader, your leadership and negotiation skills came to the fore when the state, recognizing the respect that you exude, made you the arbiter of peace in Dagon and appointed you chairman of a committee of eminent chiefs to resolve the Yendi skin affairs, a task you successfully accomplished to the admiration of all, including the feuding parties. In recognition of your immense knowledge and contribution to education, government appointed you Chancellor of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, Kumasi. You also stand out as one with vision and tenacity of purpose in health and economic development. Among other things, you have taken a number of initiatives to the benefit of many a people. Some of these include the Otumfuo Education Fund to generate resources as an effort to provide opportunities for quality primary, secondary, tertiary, and vocational education in Asante and Ghana as a whole. In 2000, you embarked upon a vigorous campaign to draw attention to the benefits of individual and group sponsorship of the education of orphaned children. Since its inception, the Otumfuo Education Fund has benefited over 100,000 students at various levels of education. The merger of the above foundations under one umbrella of the Otumfuo Osei Tutu II Charity Foundation, whose mandate appears unrestricted and currently doing remarkably well in the areas of supporting people in different spheres of endeavor. A health fund established to pursue basic healthcare plan with clear objectives that include financial and material support for the reduction of maternal and infant mortality, glaucoma, and other eye diseases, Buruli ulcer, which has become the bane of many rural dwellers in the country, as well as the eradication of the guinea worm disease. Supporting the Rotary Club's campaign to promote inoculation of children against the 6 killer diseases, including polio. In recognition of your contribution to education in Ghana, the Association of Commonwealth Universities conferred on you the Simmons Award in April 2000. You have as well received honorary doctorate degrees from Essex County College, Newark, USA, 22nd May 2001. University of Maryland, Eastern Shore, USA, 25th May 2001. Savannah State University, USA, 6th June 2001. University of Glasgow, Scotland, June 2001. Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, 15 December 2001. University of Ghana, Legon, 12 March 2004. Igbinidon University, Okada, Nigeria, 25th November 2007. Metropolitan University, London, 10 December 2007. And University of East London, 3rd September 2018. As part of your efforts towards promoting partnership with traditional authorities, you secured a World Bank grant with the approval of the government of Ghana for a pilot project entitled Promoting Partnership with Traditional Authorities Project. This singular initiative has challenged traditional leaders to demonstrate their capacity by using their own resources to augment the financial support made available by either the government or the World Bank to help develop their respective communities. Under the project, new school buildings have been built, old ones rehabilitated, and teachers' residential quarters constructed and provided with potable water and electricity. HIV/AIDS and general health campaign in cooperation with the state agencies has been stepped up in the rural areas too. Your Majesty, you have drawn to yourself many world leaders, including being the guest and host of Queen Elizabeth II of Holland, His Excellency Busumuru Kofi Annan, former UN Secretary General, President Thabo Mbeki of South Africa, President Nelson Mandela of South Africa, Mr. Don McKinnon, Commonwealth Secretary General, the President of Ethiopia, the Holy Father Pope Francis, the Archbishop of Canterbury, Right Reverend Justin Welby, President Alhaji Tidiane Kaba of Sierra Leone, President Muammar al-Gaddafi of Libya, King Mohammed VI of Morocco, President Horst Kohler of Germany, President Jakaya Mshikiwete of Tanzania, King Mswati III of Swaziland, Alpha Konari of Mali, Blaise Compaoré of Burkina Faso, Laurent Gbagbo of Côte d'Ivoire, Messrs. David Wolfowitz and James Wolfson, both former presidents of the World Bank, Prince Al-Wahid bin Talal bin Abdul Aziz Al Saud of Saudi Arabia, His Royal Highness Prince William Alexander of Netherlands, head of Worldwide Ahmadiyya Muslim Mission, the Archbishop of Canterbury, King of Bafokeng of South Africa, President Levi Patrick Mwanawasa of Zambia, Sabasaj Roland Muwenda Mutebi II, the Kabaka of Buganda in Uganda, Mr. Nkapa, former President of Tanzania, and Princess Mahan Chakri Sithun, Crown Princess of Thailand. Your Majesty, you have the privilege of addressing international and national fora and a number of business gatherings in Africa, Europe, and the United States. These include the International Cocoa Organization, London, the plenary session of the Economic Commission of Africa, Addis Ababa, the Distinguished Africa Address at Harvard University, the United Nations General Assembly High-Level Forum on a Culture of Peace in New York as keynote speaker on 30 September 2019, bilateral talk with the President of the World Bank Group, Mr. David Malpass, in Washington. Additionally, you address students at the China Foreign Affairs University in China at the invitation of Chinese People's Association for Friendship with Foreign Countries and the African Forum for Heads of State, hosted by the President of Germany. Your Majesty, you also visited the International Tribunal for Rwanda, where you had discussions with members of the tribunal and exchanged ideas on alternative conflict resolution in Africa. Your Majesty, you established the Asante-Man Economic Revitalization Plan to promote private and corporate investment in local industries, reforestation, and irrigation program. Your reign as Asante-Hene has seen rapid growth and development of Asante-Man and its environs in health, education, agriculture, and business. The unity of purpose and discipline among your subjects is an admirable trait of a wise leader. Your Majesty, Otumfuo Osei Tutu II, the University of Cape Coast salutes you for your meritorious and distinguished service to the nation, especially your commitment to promoting unity and development in Asante-Man and other regions, as well as your significant contribution to humanity in the areas of water and sanitation, health, education, entrepreneurship, culture, and heritage. Purveyor of traditional jurisprudence, advocate of rule of law, promoter of peace and stability, visionary and generational thinker, entrepreneur, advocate for preservation of culture and heritage, statesman, distinguished traditional leader and role model. Please step forward to receive your degree of Doctor of Letters, honoris causa.
Second, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, the President of this land. Then again, today, and just before that, His Excellency John Agyekum Kufuor has also enjoyed same. And today we are honoring His Royal Majesty Otumfuo Osei Tutu the Second. The Vice Chancellor also sees that opportunity. He talked about the successes that's been chalked by this great university. He emphasized the fact that, again, the University of Cape Coast has been adjudged the #1 university in Ghana, #1 in West Africa, among the top 10 universities in Africa, according to the Times Higher Education ranking. He also touted the achievement of this great university and also mentioned that there is a seeming turbulence in the university and pleaded with the Asante Hene to get in and speak because he's trusted with his attributes about conflict resolution. Before the conferment of the honorary degree, the Pro-Vice Chancellor profiled Otumfuo Osei Tutu, and in her speech you could understand why this day had to happen. He's won several awards both locally and internationally, met with so many presidents across the globe, chiefs, kings, popes and the like. So a lot is going on here, and the conferment of the honorary degree is ongoing. I want you to take it over in the studios of ATL FM, but we are bringing this to our listeners live from the new examination center here in UCC, and it is the conferment of a special congregation in honor of His Royal Majesty Otumfuo Osei Tutu II Asante Hene. Take it over, Manike, from here.
Congratulations, Your Royal Majesty. At this point, we would listen to the acceptance speech by His Royal Majesty Otumfuo Dr. Osei Tutu II.
Wasaji fogu nyagwasio krasantina jwe kasangen. Wasaji fogu nyagwasio krasantina jwe kasangen. Kotokwa yini kase krobia yine kasangen. Kotokwa yini kase krobia yine kasangen. Mema krobia irifia ngomani kotokungen. Mema krobia irifia ngomani kotokungen. Asante chantro chmo champon nufringen. Asante chantro chmo champon nufringen. Asante sesebo sumanditi. Asante siesiebo sumanditi. Krobia santina jwe kasangen. Krobia santina jwe kasangen. Se tutu memo dinyo visio. Se tutu memo dinyo visio. Why nebenya se juso supayini ni akwaba kuma sika pobano. Why nebenya se juso supayini ni akwaba kuma sika pobano. Binya se bianko bebi. O binya se bianko bebi. Amen no te di feba dem le fe kasangen. Amen no te di feba dem le fe kasangen. Chewani to fuma je nungen. Chewani to fuma je nungen. Oda fruda de ochmo champon nufringen. Oda fruda de ochmo champon nufringen. O so ni krobio sumantiti. O so ni krobio sumantiti. Jakwa jale na dia se dingen. Jakwa jale na dia se dingen. Akusibio kumblo chmo champon nufringen. Akusibio kumblo chmo champon nufringen. Jakwa office ye frampo damri favisi. Jakwa office ye frampo damri favisi. Se tutu memo dinyo visio. Se tutu memo dinyo visio. Why ne benya second tinchrebu ache dankwa ne se wampim sika bawanwa. Why ne benya second tinchrebu ache dankwa ne se wampim sika pobanwa. Obinya se bianko baby. Obinya se bianko baby. Se tutu memo dinyo visio. Se tutu memo dinyo visio. Wona na musuma nkabom empuntuo enkosoba wa sentiment Ghana manyina. Wona na musuma empuntuo enkosoba Ghana ni asantimamu. Obinya se bianko baby. Obinya se bianko baby. Blagwa bakana ne frampo damri favisi. Blagwa bakana ne frampo damri favisi. Me manda bendo da kwa yadungen. Me manda bendo da kwa yadungen. Yadom na ne dia kubo jojo tato chmo champon nufungen. Yadom na ne dia kubo jojo tato chmo champon nufungen. Oto sika sama na jujakungen. Oto sika sama na jujakungen. Jakwe bo banko nyom flower. Jakwe bo banko nyom flower. Hey flower frampo damri fao. Ina flower frampo damri fao. O pokwa mi mo dinyo visio. O pokwa mi mo dinyo visio. Why ne benya se jacho poku pani ni acha irikwa banwo. Why ne benya se jacho poku pani ni acha irikwa banwo. Binya se bianko baby. O binya se bianko Osagyefo gunyagwa singen.
Osagyefo gunyagwa singen.
Krasantina dwe kasangen.
Krasantina dwe kasangen.
Wo kubeda to baba de me fa gunyagwa sa jumna chemera.
My brother Chancellor, I hope you would permit me to go ahead without going through what you've said in terms of recognizing people here in relation to protocol. Let me express my profound gratitude to the Chancellor, Chair and members of Council of this great institution for the honor bestowed on me this morning. It is an honor I accept with humility and proudly share with Nananom, whose joint efforts have contributed to everything we have achieved in the 25 years of our reign. And they are well represented here with my brother Jabenhe, who is chairman of the Council of State. They've all been very supportive of me within the last 25 years. Nanaman Pohima is signaling me and everything, I know. The establishment of one institution may not count very much in the scheme of national development, but I will suggest that one of the many visionary acts of our first president, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, was a decision to establish a university focused on education with the task of producing the quality manpower needed for the education of the people of Ghana. And there could not be a better place to have the honor of hosting such a university than the city of Cape Coast. Osaberima, your city is where the light of higher education in this nation was lit. inspiring a thirst for knowledge and drawing thousands from every corner of the land to drink from his fountain of knowledge. We owe it to the churches for their initiative in establishing and laying the foundations of secondary education on a grand scale. From Infantsipim and Wesley Girls School to Adesado College, Holy Child and St. Augustine's, the Methodist Church, the Catholic Church and the Anglican Church led the way in providing the best in education and in conditions of gender equality long before the value of inclusivity gained universal acceptance. This university, on whom we have to depend for the training of our teachers, stands as a crowning jewel of a city of enlightenment, from whose commanding hills and sandy beaches millions of the best brains in our land have been molded, have grown the best talents who have kept the administration of our nation. This university began life in 1962 as the University College of Education, in a special relationship with the University of Ghana, Legon, with the prime mandate of producing graduate teachers to meet the manpower needs of the Ghana Education Service. It seems unbelievable today to recall that its total enrollment as at that time was 155 students, split between two departments, the Department of Science and the Arts. And the whole concept was deemed controversial in some circles. However, it survived the political upheavals of the period, and in 1971, it attained the status of a fully fledged university with the right to grant its own degrees. The mandate of the university was expanded beyond the needs of education, and today it is a burgeoning community of over 75,000 students from all disciplines. The founding fathers and their pioneering administrators have every reason to be proud of what they have bequeathed to the nation. And long may we continue to herald the achievements of this university. But even as we exalt these achievements and honor those whose hard work has made it possible, we cannot but pause and reflect on the fate and fortunes of the single subject for which this university was created, and I speak of education. It remains quite problematic to me that 60 years down the line, we are still grappling with the same challenges that informed the decision to establish this university in the first place. Some historical background may be appropriate here. Although the Gold Coast carried the tag of a model colony, less than 10% of our population had been to school by 1951, when the people were allowed to elect the first nationalist government led by Dr. Kwame Nkrumah under the limited self-rule mandate. The government took the view that education was the key to the development of the country, and consequently launched the accelerated education program to accelerate the pace and level of education. Additionally, a program of adult education was launched to drive the home mass literacy. In 1951, total enrollment in primary schools was 154,000, middle schools 66,000, secondary and technical schools 3,550, teacher training colleges 1,916. The total enrollment of the University College, the forerunner of the University of Ghana, Legon, was 208 students. By 1961, enrollment had zoomed to over 210% for primary schools, 142% for middle schools, a staggering 438% for secondary technical schools, 137% for teacher training, and an astonishing 478% for universities. It is important to note that the bulk of this expansion was funded by the state. Indeed, even the churches, which had been carrying the financial burden of education at the height of the colonial administration, were required to gradually disengage. Following the overthrow of the First Republic, the eminent scholar Professor Alex Kwapong headed a commission to undertake the first of what has become a seemingly unending series of reforms of the education system. The Kwapong Committee recommended the adoption of 6 years of primary school followed by 4 years of secondary education with 2 years of advanced certificate leading to a 3-year university course. Less than 4 years after the Kwapong reforms, another military coup led to the establishment of another committee, this time led by the Dean of the Faculty of Education of this university, Professor N.K. Zobo, to review the reform. The Professor Zobo Committee made social equity a fundamental thrust in the delivery of sound educational outcomes, arguing against the common entrance examination for the selection of pupils for secondary schools, as skewed in favor of children of the elite in society. Specifically, it recommended a new system which retained the 6-year primary school system, but split the secondary system into 3 years of junior high school and 2 years of senior secondary school lower division and 2 years of senior secondary upper division. The Zobo report formed the basis for the far-reaching reforms of 1987. In preparing for the restoration of constitutional rule in 1992, the Republican Constitution provided for free compulsory education for all children of school age within 10 years. The new government led by Flight Lieutenant Rawlins's government launched a program of free compulsory universal education in 1996. In a seminal study for the British Department of International Development, Nimoy Thompson and Leslie Casireford observed in 2008, broadly, the objectives of FQ were in line with the recommendations of the World Declaration on Education for All, adopted after the World Bank UN-sponsored World Conference on Education for All in Thailand in 1990. The declaration stated that every person, child, youth, and adult shall be able to benefit from educational opportunities designed to meet their basic learning needs, and all countries were required to achieve universal basic education by the year 2000. The rollout of FQ was followed by a National Education Forum in November 1999 to examine the prospects of Ghana moving towards compliance with the World Declaration on Education for All. Barely 2 or 3 years after, in 2002, another education sector review was undertaken to examine the outcome. Since then, every government has undertaken a serious review of education system. The troubling fact, however, is that each review has either been driven by austerity or constrained by fiscal malice and not necessarily by the desire to achieve their stated goals. So we've had to live constantly with a contradiction between governments holding education as a high priority only for education to become the first casualty of any fiscal downturn. Against such background, the mixed response to the recent free senior high school scheme has not been a surprise. The Minister of Education here would want to do more, but he doesn't have adequate funds to do what he wants to do. There's no doubt that the free senior high school program is the most audacious piece of social intervention in our Fourth Republic. The pre-independence program for free education covered primary education and later the university. The secondary sector was beyond the capacity of the state. None of the reforms since had dared move the dial through that space. The decision to take the plunge, therefore, had to be truly ambitious, and it is no wonder it has kept education at the top of national discourse. There is undoubted merit in the government argument that if we are preparing our children to compete in the global economy of today, then they should be entitled to the same level of basic education as children in other climates. Since basic education elsewhere encompasses secondary or high schools, it's only fair that we also upgrade our basic education. In that sense, therefore, offering free senior high school is doing no more than meeting the obligation to provide the basic education for all. It is not only in Ghana that this becomes relevant. In a background paper prepared for the International Commission on Financing Global Education Opportunity, Shakira Mustafa and Phillips Crowns noted with reference to primary schools products. The completion of primary school is no guarantee that children have acquired basic academic skills. Surveys in a number of low-income countries document that many adults who have received some schooling 5 or 6 years or less are functionally illiterate or enumerate. That is an experience Ghana identifies with, and it buttresses the case for upscaling basic education. But this cannot be that simple. It only underscores the enormity of the challenge associated with the changing dynamics of education and nation building in our times. Ghanaians accept education as a basic right of every child. All nations signed up through the United Nations and its agencies to provide basic education for all. In Africa, education is deemed so critical, the African Union has declared the year of this year the African Year of Education. In Ghana, it has been part of the objective of every government from as far apart as the nationalist government of limited self-rule in 1951. We see it not just as a human right, it is an economic necessity, an investment in the economic and social well-being of every nation. In the background paper already cited, the authors made the point that when any child fails to acquire basic skills needed to function as a productive, responsible member of society, society as a whole, not to mention the individual child, loses. The cost of educating children is far outweighed by the cost of not educating them. Yet, though the cost of not providing education would ultimately be higher, nations have to contend in the first place with the overriding problem of mobilizing the resources needed to invest in education. Without the resources, even our most desirable goals cannot be achieved, and that sadly has been the problem not only for Ghana, but for Africa. It is the reason we are obliged to make sure that our ambitions are matched by our pockets. As we have already noted, every educational reform undertaken in Ghana has been driven by financial constraints arising from national economic malice. Whereas in the developed world, educational reforms are undertaken to ensure the content of education matches the economic and social needs of society, here we are driven solely by what is available to spend in the fiscal space. It is for this reason that even an audacious scheme like the free senior high school, as I've mentioned, which one would expect to receive universal acclamation, has instead been mired in some controversy, with some blaming it for exacerbating the fiscal malice of the economy. And yet, even with that program, Ghana has yet to reach the universal benchmark for national spending on education as a percentage of gross domestic product. In the latest UNESCO World Education Finance Watch Report of 2024, the scorecard which monitors progress towards achieving the universal benchmark for spending on education showed that overall, only the high-income countries are more likely to be classified as either having achieved or having a high probability of 75% of achieving the 2025 benchmark for spending on education. The good news for us, however, is that Ghana is one of the only 15 developing countries confirmed as being on track to reach the benchmark in 2025. In effect, assuming the current program continues, we should meet the universal benchmark for spending on education to GDP. That certainly should be welcome. But if the focus is on the rebalancing of resources, the effect may well stir up more heat than light. Every dramatic increase in enrollment affects the physical resources and infrastructure of schools, affects learning materials, and above all, requires a corresponding increase in the number of qualified teachers. Beyond these, as we have experienced more than once in the past 2 decades, every expansion at the secondary level has a huge impact on the tertiary sector, and yet at no time have we seen an attempt to coordinate the implementation of any secondary sector reform with the universities. When at a stroke, enrollment in senior high schools are doubled, the universities have to brace themselves for an inevitable surge in demand for undergraduate studies with no prior consideration for its effect on fiscal resources. Our universities are already bursting at the seams, with rising student population virtually overwhelming fiscal resources and infrastructure. It should be obvious that important as the senior high school may be, focus on it should not lead to a misalignment of resources, nor should it become the focus of all attention in national discourse. Rather, we should recognize the necessity to look at the challenge of education in its totality. First, we may do well to re-examine the structure of the education system from primary to secondary to tertiary education. Is the separation between junior and senior high school working? What has become of the products of junior high school who are unable to proceed to senior high school? How functional have the vocational institute become? How relevant have they been in the job market? Is the system providing for the critical middle level needs as we expected the polytechnic and technical universities to provide?
Sure.
Secondly, we need another look critically at the financing of education. What resources are available and how they are allocated to the various levels to ensure equity. This is at the root of all the discourse. Education is an expensive investment. The expenditure on buildings alone is huge, but buildings alone do not provide education.
Sure.
Learning and teaching materials must be available. In the 21st century, there should be no school without computers, without the means to provide the basic ICT skills. And we should ensure our teachers are reasonably remunerated for the critical service they provide.
Zoom. Zoom.
Thirdly, we need to reappraise the content of education from pre-tertiary to tertiary to see how far they go to meet the needs of the economy and society in this fast-changing world.
Zoom.
There are many areas of the system crying for updating and many anomalies requiring correction. The ongoing prioritizing of STEM education is a step in the right direction, but it is necessary to caution about the risk of restricting it to an elite class and leaving the broader system with no knowledge of these critical skills.
Zoom.
For the sake of equity, we should ensure equal opportunities for all to acquire these vital skills in their education journey.
Zoom.
Education must lead the nation's response to the incredible challenges of climate change.
Zoom.
If we are to fully appreciate the gravity of the threat to our planet and come to terms with what needs to be done to obviate the consequences, our education system must infuse in us, from the pre-primary stage to the tertiary, the science and the knowledge which should guide our actions. It is the only way we are going to make it possible for our communities to appreciate the necessity to protect our forests and our river bodies and restore the respect which our forefathers had for their environment.
Zoom.
We need to reflect seriously on how we refocus education to guide us towards a sustainable world.
Zoom.
I'm sure this audience will share the need for considerable reappraisals at the tertiary level to ensure our universities are fully aligned to the needs of society. It is right for the nation that we seek to maintain high standards in our universities, but it will be astonishing to demand higher entry requirements for some courses than the renowned Ivy League and Oxbridge universities in the United States and Europe.
Zoom.
I find it incomprehensible that we have deliberately capped the number of students our universities should admit for medicine and law, even though we have a huge vacancy of doctors and a bulging number of students who have met all the qualifying standards.
Zoom.
We have the absurd situation in which parents of Ghanaian students have to find foreign exchange to send their children to Europe and other places to study medicine abroad and then return to be employed by the Ghana Health Service.
Zoom.
Assuming there are some impediments in the way of increasing the intake of students, would it not make more sense to remove those impediments to allow for all qualified students to gain admission and perhaps offer space for foreign students who will pay us in foreign currency?
Zoom.
Beyond these key professions, it remains a sore issue whether our education system is producing the skills set needed to keep business and industry moving. But however we may try within the educational establishment to refocus education, it will be to no avail unless we can get the national economy into good shape.
Zoom.
It remains incontrovertible that only the state can deliver the resources needed to achieve the goal of education for all. And only a strong, resilient, and sustainable economy can generate the needed resources.
Zoom.
Because education is so critical for the state and the state is correspondingly critical for education, I see the need for a special kind of relationship between the state and the education establishment.
Zoom.
Mr. Chancellor, Chair, you will be aware that we made education the focus of our reign when we ascended the Golden Stool 25 years ago.
Zoom.
As a concrete expression of our commitment, we established our education fund, which has become an example of the support that education can derive from non-state actors.
Zoom.
I've also had the privilege to be the Chancellor of Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. As Chancellor, by the way, I was appointed by the university, not the government.
Zoom. Zoom.
As Chancellor, I've had the task of lending support to the university establishment as it struggles to obtain the resources they need in pursuit of their goals, while through the Education Fund, we have tried to demonstrate what non-state actors within the community can do to generate resources to support education.
Zoom.
Combining the role of both the mobilizer and consumer of educational resources has given me a perspective from which to ponder some troubling questions.
Zoom.
Is education delivering the goals and objectives for Ghana? Has education delivered the intended outcomes? Has education justified the sacrifices that are demanded of the people? Has Ghana education been truly fit for purpose? If these questions come as a shock to the nation, and probably more so to this audience, it can only be because we have avoided the need for continuous critical evaluation of the outcome of our investments, not only in education, but in several other spheres.
Zoom.
Regardless of the lapses and shortfalls, it is incontrovertible that as a nation, Ghana has invested enormous resources in education. The explosion in tertiary education has produced a multitude of highly educated men and women with the skills set to manage and direct the affairs of the nation.
Zoom.
In every sector of our society, our affairs are in the hands of actors who are not just educated but highly qualified.
Zoom.
Our political class, at both executive and the legislative levels, with responsibility for policy formulation and direction, is led and dominated by men and women who are highly educated. We have a judiciary service which is very highly educated. But
Zoom.
My lady Barbara.
Zoom.
Our banks and insurance services are highly educated. Our civil service is highly educated. Our customs and internal revenue service actors are very highly educated. Our police and security services are highly educated. Our military is highly educated. Logically, you would expect this output of highly educated leaders to translate into greater efficiency in the management of our affairs, particularly in the management of the national economy.
Zoom.
So when I hear the endless lamentations about our economy is in distress, when I see our legislature in gridlock, unable to agree on issues of national interest, when I'm told about the decline in public confidence in law enforcement, I can't help asking myself, is that what education can deliver for all our investment and all our sacrifices?
Zoom. Zoom.
We should not forget that financing education has required enormous sacrifices. Through the worst of economic circumstances, the state has been obliged to devote a considerable percentage of our tax revenue to education.
Zoom.
Ironically, the bulk of this revenue will come from farmers, some of whom are the least educated and probably the poorer section of society. So we have the incongruous situation of the poor financing the education of the rich.
Zoom.
Finally, we have the personal sacrifices parents make in the education of their wards.
Zoom.
All these sacrifices are justified as investments in the future well-being of their wards and society as a whole.
Zoom.
But if the outcome of education is to produce an army of skilled and able young men and women who cannot find jobs to aptly apply their acquired skills, and if continually we are confronted with questions about competency in the management of our resources,
Zoom.
how can we respond to anyone who questions the ultimate value we place in education?
Zoom.
By raising the question, we do not seek to cast doubt on the value of education per se. We are rather prodding the nation, and particularly academia, to be alive to the necessity of undertaking a rigorous evaluation of the outcome of education relative to the benefits accruing to the nation, to give us the tools to correct any lapses before public confidence is eroded.
Zoom.
In fact, the situation we face reinforces the need for a special relationship between academia and the state.
Zoom.
There was a period in our history during the First Republic when academia was deemed to be closeted in an ivory tower, a distance away from the real world. That is no longer an issue. You are as integrated into society and in tune with its pulse as it is possible to be.
Zoom.
You are the teachers who are preparing and mentoring the men and women who are taking control of our lives. As political leaders, judges, economists, bankers, mandarins, diplomats, military and police officers. As teachers, you are like parents who should have a lifetime interest in the performance of your students.
Zoom.
As their success inspires you, so their failure should burden you.
Zoom.
Beyond the personal relationship between teacher and student, there's an even greater linkage that needs to be strengthened. The university is the storehouse of knowledge. All the knowledge required for nation building. More than the storehouse of knowledge, a university is the laboratory for research, cultivation and discovery of answers to the social, physical needs of society. You will all be aware of how much the works of universities have informed policies that have shaped countries and have revolutionized society. Countries and societies through time. Much of the scientific and other discoveries that have revolutionized society owe their roots to the universities and to the collaboration between universities and either the state or private business. Unfortunately, in our country, there's hardly any evidence of the meaningful collaboration that needs to exist between the state and the universities. Perhaps one reason the role of academia has been downplayed is that we have allowed the abrasive political divisions to permeate our sacred campuses and turn them into battlegrounds for partisan combat instead of havens for imbibing and dispensing knowledge. It is time, in my view, for all of us to wake up to the negative impact this has caused and make an effort to reverse the situation. We can begin fashioning a new relationship between state and academia that engages the expertise of academia in the process of policy formulation on a continuous basis. I have no doubt about how beneficial it will be for the country to create a unique quadrangle of experts from academia, business leaders, traditional leaders, and government, tasked to address the seemingly intractable problems of the economy. This could be the beginning of continuous collaboration between academia, the state, and captains of business in finding solutions to many of our social problems. For this to happen, however, we will need academia to wean itself of gross partisanship and cultivate and enshrine a culture of rigorous objectivity. This should allow the universities, as a collective responsibility, to establish the right mechanism for rigorous continuous evaluation of the performance of national institutions and help inject some efficiency into the system. It should help us inspire a new era in which the achievement of measurable national goals take precedence over the pursuit of personal gains. With an environment in which the state can reach out across party boundaries to draw on the patriotic service of its experts without attracting unwelcome labels. The good thing is that there's more than a silver lining ahead. Ghana remains one country in whom nobody can afford to lose confidence. Given the combined human and natural resources at our disposal and the heritage from which we have grown, we will only fail if we want to. And I don't believe there's any Ghanaian who contemplates failure anytime. Let's hope then that we will not give in to any doctrine of despair, but rise with the challenge to herald a new era for Ghana. Thank you, UCC, for the honor, and let's forge ever forward to glorious future. Thank you.